Modern nations in the Bible. Did Daniel prophesy about America in the Bible? It is often taught by many biblical scholars that the United States of America is not mentioned in biblical prophecy. How could a nation as powerful as America not be mentioned? Will the United States be destroyed by a meteor from outer space? Or maybe they will be wiped out in World War III. Or maybe they will be destroyed from within. Or maybe the United States is in the Bible and it is concealed like a riddle, a mystery. The prophet Daniel, who wrote about the end of the age, asked God for him to reveal the meaning of the symbols in his dream, and God told him no. So why do I believe it is possible for us to know? Because I know I'm no better than Daniel. But in Daniel 12:9, God says, "Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end." So it wasn't for Daniel to know the meaning of what he prophesied. However, God said a generation will come and the meaning of the symbols will be unveiled to them. Are we that generation to understand the meaning of Daniel chapter 7? Perhaps. Let's take a quick look. Beginning in Daniel chapter 7, verse 1, "In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream, and visions passed through his mind as he was lying in bed. He wrote down the substance of his dream. And Daniel said, In my vision at night I looked, and there before me were the four winds of heaven churning up the great sea. And four great beasts, each different from the other, came up out of the sea." Let's pause right there. These beasts are not literal creatures that will rise up from the ocean, but they are symbols. But symbols of what? Daniel tells us in the same chapter what they symbolize. In Daniel 7:17, "These great beasts are four kings which shall arise out of the earth." Daniel 7:23, "The fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom which shall devour the whole earth, trampling it down and crushing it." So these beasts symbolize kings and the kingdoms they rule over. Today we refer to kingdoms as nations. So let's look at the first beast. The first was like a lion, and it had wings of an eagle. I watched until its wings were torn off, and it was lifted from the ground so that it stood on 2 feet like a human being, and the mind of a human was given to it. So the first beast is a lion that had eagle's wings. What kingdom or nation in the world today is symbolized as a lion? Great Britain's national animal is the lion. Their royal banner is a lion. And at nearly every site with national importance, you will see the sculpture of the lion. Even in many national and international news articles, Britain is often referenced as the lion.
By the people of this country. But it is up to us now, in the traditional, non-threatening, and genial, self-deprecating way of the British, to let that lion roar. Thank you very much.
Now let's look at the second beast. Daniel 7:5, "And there before me was a second beast, which looked like a bear, and it was raised up on one of its sides, and it has 3 ribs in its mouth between its teeth. And it was told, Get up and eat your fill of flesh." The second beast is a bear, which represents Russia. The bear appears in many of Russia's works of art. In the 1980 Olympics, Russia mascot was a bear named Mishka. They have military aircrafts called bombers. Actually, The technical name is the Tu-95 Russian Bear bombers. Internationally, the bears are often used in political cartoons and caricatures in news articles and journals to represent Russia. Now let's look at this third beast, Daniel 7:6. After that I looked up, and there before me was another beast, one that looked like a leopard, and on his back it had 4 wings like those of a bird. This beast had 4 heads, and it was given authority to rule. The leopard had 4 heads and 4 wings of a bird. Which country is symbolized by the leopard? Germany. Germany has the world's #1 tank, called the Leopard 2 tank. It also has 4 wings on its back. Germany, throughout the centuries, has had a strong alliance with France, whose unofficial national animal is the rooster. The rooster has been occasionally used on France stamps and coins. This verse also says that the leopard was given authority to rule. Germany has started 3 of the world's major world wars, including the Franco-Germany War of 1870, World War I, and World War II. Lastly, it says that the leopard has 4 heads. Multiple heads symbolize the number of times a nation will rise and fall. So far, Germany has had 3 rises and falls as a nation, also commonly referred to as the 3 Reichs. The first Reich, which was 800 AD to 1806 AD by Charlemagne. The second Reich was 1871 to 1918, which was Otto von Bismarck of World War I. The third Reich was 1933 to 1945, Hitler in World War II, and now we have the Fourth Reich, which is now rising. Now let's look at this fourth beast. After that in my vision at night I looked, and there before me was a fourth beast, terrifying and frightening and very powerful. It had large iron teeth, and it crushed and devoured its victims and trampled underfoot whatever was left. It was different from all the other former beasts, and it had 10 horns. The 10 horns symbolized 10 kings who will rule over 10 nations. Daniel 7:24 says, the 10 horns are 10 kings who will come from this kingdom, and after them another king will arise different from the earlier ones, and he will subdue 3 kings. Who is the 10-horned beast? This one is still in progress. However, in 2018, the president of France proposed a European army which will be a coalition of 10 nations, including Finland, Germany, Belgium, Britain, Denmark, Estonia, the Netherlands, Spain, Portugal, and France. Could this be the 10-horned beast? Possibly. In Daniel 7 verse 8 it says, while I was thinking about the 10 horns, there before me was another horn, a little one, which came up from among them, and 3 of the horns were uprooted before it. And this horn had eyes like the eyes of a human being, and a mouth that spoke boastfully. I believe this verse is speaking of the Antichrist, who will be the leader of this 10-nation coalition. But what about America? Let's go back to Daniel chapter 7 verse 4. The first was like a lion, and it had wings of an eagle. And I watched until its wings were torn off, and it was lifted from the ground so that it stood on 2 feet like a human being, and the mind of a human was given to it. It says the first was like a lion that had eagle's wings, and the eagle's wings were plucked or tore off from the lion. I believe Daniel actually seen and prophesied the Declaration of Independence. This is where the American eagle made itself separate from the Britain lion. The bald eagle is a national symbol for the United States of America. And even on the American dollar bill, there is a symbol of the eagle. In addition to that, there are hundreds of news articles that reference the United States as the eagle. And just like Germany has a Leopard tank and Russia has a Tu Bear bomber, America has the McDonnell Douglas F-15 Eagle. Now Daniel was not the only one to describe these beasts. Nearly 600 years later, John wrote about them in the book of Revelations. Remember, the Bible has the same author, just different transcribers. In Revelations chapter 13 verse 1, it says, "The dragon stood on the shore of the seas, and I saw a beast coming out of the sea, and it had 10 horns and 7 heads, with 10 crowns on its horns, and on each head a blasphemous name. The beast I saw resembled a leopard, but had feet like those of a bear, and a mouth like that of a lion. The dragon gave the beast his power and his throne and great authority." The dragon here is Satan. Satan has just been kicked out of heaven, Revelations 12 says. However, what is very interesting is that the same beast that Daniel described in Daniel chapter 7 is also described in Revelations chapter 13 verses 1 through 2, with the exception that they are all combined into one single beast. The mouth of a lion, which is Great Britain, the feet of a bear, which is Russia, Germany, which is a leopard, and the 10 horns, which is a coalition of nations led by the Antichrist. So here John is telling you the identity of the nations that will be involved in the one world government. In Revelation chapter 13 verse 3, it says, "One of the heads of the beast seemed to have had a fatal wound, but the fatal wound had been healed, and the whole world was filled with wonder and followed the beast." I believe this fatal wound is referencing Germany. Germany was divided into the east and west because this was Germany's second time within 30 years of causing a major world war, and the world never wanted to see that happen again. However, when the Berlin Wall was destroyed, Germany became united as one nation once again, and all the world was filled with wonder as they celebrated the falling of the Berlin Wall. And as a result, since then, Germany is now one of the richest and most powerful nations in all of Europe. A nation that had a fatal head wound is now revived. But what about America? Where are the eagle's wings that Daniel talked about? Because you don't see the eagle's wings described within this beast, the one world government. You have to go to the previous chapter of Revelation chapter 12 verse 13. When the dragon saw that he had been hurled to earth, he pursued the woman who had given birth to the male child. So Satan had just been kicked out of heaven, and he pursued the woman who is actually Israel, and the male child who she gave birth to is actually our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Verse 14 goes on to say, "The woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle, so that she may fly to the place prepared for her in the wilderness, where she will be taken care of for a time, times, and a half a time, out of the serpent's reach." Could these eagle's wings symbolize the United States of America? Throughout the centuries, nearly every nation has attempted or desired to see Israel destroyed. However, there has always been one nation that has always supported Israel. On November 29th, 1947, Israel needed 31 votes from the United Nations to become a nation. Guess who cast the 31st vote, causing Israel to become a nation? The United States. In addition to that, America has used its United Nations veto power over 40 times to protect Israel. And just within the last couple of years, the United States moved its embassy to Jerusalem, basically sending a signal to the rest of the world that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel.
What we witnessed here today in the Security Council is an insult. It won't be forgotten. It's one more example of the United Nations doing more harm than good in addressing the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Today, for the simple act of deciding where to put our embassy, The United States was forced to defend its sovereignty. The record will reflect that we did so proudly.
Numbers 24:9. The nation is like a mighty lion. When it is sleeping, no one dares wakes it. However, whoever blesses Israel will be blessed, and whoever curses Israel will be cursed. So what does this mean? It is my belief that the promises of God are always true, and God will bless America for protecting Israel. Satan is putting America on trial right now and throwing everything he possibly can to destroy America. However, at the same time, God is testing America to see what she is made of. And it is my belief, according to the promise of Revelations 12:14, that God is saying he will not let America fall. America will not be destroyed by a meteor from outer space. America will not be destroyed from within, nor will America be destroyed by any foreign government. Okay, what I'm about to say next is really radical. But America will not be part of the one world government, nor will they ever take the mark of the beast. God will not only use America to continue to protect Israel until he comes, but to continue to preach the gospel to the world for this coming great revival. Now it's about to get really tough, church, and we haven't even seen the worst yet. But there is a people of God who are prepared for this time, sons and daughters of God. Now is the time to get in your position. It's time for you to fight for your destiny. It's just not going to be given to you. Thanks once again for watching another one of my videos. Please remember to pray, like, share, subscribe, comment, and until my next video, don't forget to keep praying.